I am a fourth generation of my family on my dad's side that is prostate cancer. My great-great-grandfather, the first two generations passed away from it. And so we've always had, obviously, a much higher level of intensity when it comes to that kind of stuff. And in my annual routine checkup, we ended up in 1 year jumping about 2 points.
I came home and I read your face.
Yeah.
And you said, he said I needed to have my prostate removed. That's 0 to 60 mighty fast. What about all the other tools? That just made no sense to me. And so I said, we are getting a second opinion. We are going to VCU Health.
It was just a completely different door had opened in the sense of you don't need to have it removed, and here's why. We have this treatment. Oh, and by the way, we're taking delivery of new equipment next week that we're training on that is going to be able to give us like cutting edge technology and treating, any type of a prostate issue without having to remove it. I left that day probably a completely different person.
Healthcare has become very impersonal. And so it's so critically important to have that personal touch where you can really talk to your physician and figure out what's going on, showing that, we really care about people and want to take care of them and bringing people together, use all the resources we have to make it work.
I think it's really special because there's a whole family involved here.
Yeah.
And I think every single one of us felt like they cared.
This gift is really about endowing a department and separating urology from surgery so that we could have a seat at the table and really have national and international impact. We crafted the gift in 3 buckets: education, research, and clinical excellence. We want to have an exceptional training program where we have the resources to support our residents, the equipment we needed for simulation training, the funding we need to send our residents to research symposiums all around the country. Clinically, we've been able to bring in a couple of oncologists already, develop some new great programs, and expand our clinical operations, offering some new therapies such as focal therapy for prostate cancer, things that are first in the state because we have these resources to do that. We want to bring in top talent, develop labs that work with Massey Cancer Center and departments in the university to really develop a urology research infrastructure that works basic science, translational, bedside, so that you have this nice flow, get new innovations, new strategies, new breakthroughs that we can then bring it right to the bedside.
Just even in a 5-year span, there could be so many more advancements and so many more things that happen with the expansion of just that department. That gives me incredible confidence.
As the mother of 2 sons, they've got a place to go. They have someone who will follow them throughout their lives that is supporting a multi-generational issue that maybe at some point, because of urology department here, could just be eradicated.
And so it's so critically important to have philanthropy and grateful patients and foundations that can support the work you do. A gift of this magnitude sets us up for transformational change. The name Dorothy A. Pauley will be on our department. That endowment is forever. Long after I'm gone, some other person who's in charge will be able to continue to use those resources and remember what that name meant because it got us there, and it's going to continue to make us grow.